Good evening, everybody. The hour being after 6:30, I'd like to call the Tuesday, May 6th, 2025 School Building Committee meeting to order. This is a hybrid meeting. There are people physically present and joining us through Zoom. Members of the public with any questions or comments can email us at middleschoolproject@walpole.k12.ma.us. Our next order of business is approval of meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments about the meeting minutes?
Yes, I mentioned this to you. In the meeting minutes, it was a hybrid meeting, they should all be roll called, and in particular, the vote on the VIP package was just listed as just what the vote was, not what the roll call was, so I request that the roll call be added to the minutes before they're approved.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve the meeting minutes with Mr. Fisher's request that it be amended to have the roll call vote added. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
We have a motion from Jack Fisher. Do we have any, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second from Mr. Senek. Let me poll the committee. Ms. Gaositz.
Yes.
Dr. Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Krakis.
Yes.
Jeff Fisher.
Yes.
Jack Fisher.
Yes,
Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero.
Yes.
I vote yes. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah, Mark, Bill Hahn's on the call now. I vote yes.
Dr. Hahn votes yes as well. Anybody else? It is a vote. Our next order of business, Kate, project status update.
So I'll turn this over to Griffin to go through where we are in the construction, the last phase of construction.
Yep, thanks, Kate. So as far as this phase 2D work, really down to seating at this point, we have a hydro seating scheduled for Thursday this week. There was some work done along the slope there. You can see the stabilization. And then where the bullpens are, where that curbing is. So seating around that and kind of on the right side of that photo along the walkway down to East Street. And then I think that photo on the right there is the field work. So Quigley's out there subgrading, basically getting ready for the footings for the canopies and then the concrete walks that'll be poured hopefully next week sometime. Our landscaper's been out there and set some of the fence posts, so those are poured in. They'll put the actual fence fabric up once the concrete and paving work is complete. There's a photo. Looks like before they poured the fence post there. Big picture, this is kind of what we have left here. So the concrete for the dugout canopy, basically the pads underneath those dugouts, all the walkways that are kind of along the fields, either field along East Street, and some of the paving kind of between the concrete and the street there. I know the town has some of their work starting, I think, later this week on the curbing and the road widening for the additional parking. So all in all, we're looking good out there. We'll get some concrete pads poured and then start seeing some of the actual site furnishings like bleachers and canopies and safety netting and that type of stuff starting to show up in the next couple weeks.
All right.
Anything else, Griffin? Nope.
Nope, that's it.
All right, next, Kate.
Great, so we did want to bring one proposed change order to the committee's attention. This is a request that's come up through the district, asking for additional lockers, to be added to each of the 3 floors. As everybody knows, 6th grade's on the 1st floor, 7th grade is on the 2nd floor, 8th grade's on the 3rd floor, and they're broken up by colors. So I think, Matt, do you want to talk through, if you're on, the proposal to add lockers and how many are going in each group?
Sure. I can't get back on the Zoom to share the images, but I can talk through it. So right now we have about, I think it's 908 lockers in the school. That's based on the 905 that we designed around, based on what was provided by the MSBA for what we should provide and design for the number of students. So we have 905 students, 908 total lockers. As Kate said, they're running short with the new enrollments. So on the 1st floor in the breakout area, there's a portion where there is an area of low single-tier lockers, and then it jumps up to double-tier lockers, and there's a countertop above the single-tier lockers. So we're going to take out 6 of the single-tier lockers and remove the countertop, cut it back, and add 6 new double-tier lockers. So that happens on the 1st floor in each of the 3 breakout areas. So there'll be, 12 new lockers in each breakout area. And then on the 2nd and 3rd floor, the layout slightly different. There's another area where on the 1st floor, there's a door to go into the storage under the stair. On the 2nd and 3rd floors, we do not have that door. So we're adding 4 double-tier lockers kind of in the corner of the breakout in the other areas. We don't have to modify the existing lockers and countertop that's there. So that happens in all 3 of the breakout spaces on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So there'll be 8 in each breakout area on the 2nd and 3rd floors in all 3 of those spaces.
So
Any
we're,
questions or comments?
yeah, Jen?
Oh, I just wanted an explanation in terms of are these student lockers, or were we short a number of lockers, and that's what this is meeting a demand?
So the incoming 6th grade class has more kids than expected, and the school has maximized all the lockers, and they have run out of lockers going into next year. So
Okay.
this is and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, so every kid has a locker and there's enough lockers on the floor.
Correct. So we have 840 students currently enrolled right now. So we do obviously have a number based on the 908 Matt was discussing. But enrollment is absolutely increasing. I know we have 300 6th grade students coming class of around 315. So we are 15 lockers short at 6th grade, and we want to make sure that we sustain the team-based model, which reduces unnecessary student movement between levels and grades, and we just anticipate enrollment increasing. So we want to get ahead of this now so that each student can have their own locker.
Thanks, Carrie.
Any other questions? Yep, Jack?
Matt, just to satisfy me, what's the total number of lockers after you add these? You're going from 908 to what's the total number?
It's 36 more on the 1st floor, and then it is 2, 4, 6, 8. The 24, no, because it's on 2 floors, right? So that would be 24 more? No, 48, right? Because there's 4, 8, 8, 8. So it's 8 times 6 is 48, plus 36. So we're adding 84 lockers. So you'll have a total of 992, if I did my math right.
Okay. And Carrie, you said that the incoming class was 315, so you multiply that by 3, that's 945, and if you're at 980, then you've got a little bit of wiggle room to grow.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Do we need to vote on this, Kate?
Yes, we're asking for a not-to-exceed approval of $40,000. We have some numbers for the lockers themselves, which have a 15-week lead time, and we are finalizing numbers around some power that has to be shifted and data that has to be shifted. So we believe that the $40,000 not-to-exceed line item will capture all of those changes and allow us to release the lockers and get in line for that, the longer lead time.
Great. Does anybody want to phrase a motion?
Mark,
Sure.
I have a question real quick.
Yes, Mr.
Before we
Senek.
do.
Yep, right ahead.
I've asked this before we started, building, especially around the auditorium regarding the numbers of enrollees and what the future looks like in Walpole, and if we've essentially accounted for any future growth in the town going forward. If we're already making changes to the counts of lockers in year one, how is that going to look like, next year, the year after that? How are additional changes going to be applied? I'm assuming this committee is not going to be around, too far down the road. But should we be accounting for more than what is currently being proposed?
Boris, I have the state website up here. It's not 100% accurate because enrollment changes as kids move in and move out. But if you look at the early elementary grades, at least the numbers as of today, we should be good. There's a blip in the fourth grade that's pretty big too. So the fourth, fifth, and sixth grade are higher than the first, second, and third grade. If that helps you.
What would be our surplus at this point?
I don't know, Boris, that you can predict that until the start of next school year, because kids move in, kids move out. I don't know, Carrie, you think we're on the safe side by a few lockers, it seems to me?
Yeah, I think we're planning for more than enough for future years to come. We've taken that into consideration. And again, I think the biggest focus for me is that we're out of lockers right now in sixth grade. That doesn't mean we are for second and third floor, but the entire model at middle school is team-based, and we really want to do everything to sustain that.
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense to me. I just want to make sure that we're adding enough.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we're already making the addition, are we adding enough for future, or should we be adjusting that number? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Boris. Anybody else? All right, would anybody like to phrase a motion for the lockers?
I just wanted to say one thing, and then I'll do the motion. I think too, when they do enrollment, my understanding is that they do look at incoming housing and projections, so when they put this all together, but I totally appreciate what you're saying, Boris, so that was a great question. I'm going to vote to approve a locker PCO and a not-to-exceed value of $40,000.
Very good. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Dr. Goff. Let me poll the committee. Ms. Gaositz? Dr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Krakis?
Yes.
Jeff Fisher?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
What's the cost of the lockers versus the cost of the work?
So I believe, Griffin, the lockers themselves were around 25 or 26,000, is that correct?
That's correct.
So then we're still working through the electrical and the data. And then is there anything else, Griffin? We're still. And the countertop, yeah.
Yeah, there's countertops that need to be field cut. And then, any patching that needs to take place behind where there's wall tile that's gonna have to come down, those lockers go up. And then, any dings in the wall or anything like that.
Okay, I vote yes.
All right, very good. Jack Fisher?
Yes.
Dr. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Senek?
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? All right, it is a vote. Next, Kate?
So following up on the enrollment increase, the district has asked that there is one student desk and student chair added into every classroom in the middle school. So we are looking for an approval for an additional 20 student desks and 20 student chairs for a total of $7,210.50 for the middle school.
Any questions or comments?
Is that on this?
Yeah. It's included in a FF&E projection.
Okay.
So Kara, if we have a blip in the 6th grade, those desks could follow them up a floor and then another floor the following years, right?
Correct.
Correct, very good. Anybody else, any questions or comments about the desks? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve the desks in what amount, Kate?
$7,210.50.
$7,210.50.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Jack Fisher. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Gaositz. Let me poll the committee. Ms. Gaositz. Dr. Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Krakis.
Yes.
Jeff Fisher.
Yes.
Jack Fisher.
Yes.
Dr. Hahn.
Yes.
Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero.
Yes.
And I vote yes, it is a vote. Next, Kate.
So the vendor invoice package for April totals $949,830.95. Includes a Vertex invoice, TAP A, some landscape invoices that are related to irrigation coordination with the town, and Fontaine's Rec, 35. So Fontaine's Rec is for $725,930.34. They are currently 94% complete with their contract work. We have an updated budget included in the vendor invoice package, and then the reimbursables from the MSBA included. So we're looking for a vote for the April vendor invoice package for $949,830.95.
Do we have any questions or comments about the vendor invoice package? Hearing none, I
Actually,
would take.
Mark, can I just make
Yeah.
just a couple comments? So I just want to, I know that there's been some comments about the VIPs the last couple meetings, so I just want to address that if it's okay through you. So I just want to be clear, I know there's been this kind of growing movement of voting against the VIPs, presumably in protest to the field work that's taking place. So I just want to be clear that this committee voted back in February to contract with Fontaine to do this scope of work. They've been performing this scope of work. They've been submitting pay requisitions that have been reviewed, approved and certified by TAP Pay that has been performed satisfactorily. So at this point, when it gets to this point with the committee, it's really a financial obligation, and it's, looking for this committee to sign off on the town's financial obligation. So I would just mention that, not wanting to give rise to a potential claim, like these are all governed by General Law 149, that's the building statute. So I just want to not put the town in an adverse position with Fontaine. They're doing work that they were contracted to do. So I just wanted to make that statement. I know that there's been some comments in the past, at this point, we've contracted with Fontaine to do this work, and we have a financial obligation. So that's all I just want to mention.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yep.
Do we have a motion to approve the vendor invoice package in the amount of $949,830.95?
So moved.
A motion from Ms. Gaositz. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Dr. Goff. Let me poll the committee. Ms. Gaositz.
Yes.
Dr. Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Krakis.
Yes.
Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher? Jeff, we'll get back to you. Jack Fisher.
Abstain.
Dr. Hahn.
Yes.
Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero.
Yes.
Jeff Fisher? Jeff, are you there? We lost Jeff. And I will abstain as well, I guess. Very good. It is a vote. Next, Kate?
Communication to and from the MSBA, we have the same note as we talked through last month. We are currently at 94.52% for the reimbursement from the MSBA. They're still reviewing the last submission, so they'll get us right up to the 95% And then they are going to be holding the final reimbursements until the closeout process is complete. And then we have other business, open discussion.
Anybody else? Any final questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Motion from Jack Fisher. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Gaositz. Let me poll the committee. Ms. Gaositz?
Yes.
Dr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Krakis?
Yes.
Jeff Fisher? Still not here. Jack Fisher?
Yes.
Dr. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Senek?
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero?
Yes.
And I vote yes, it is a vote. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Night, everyone.
Night.